So you kind of talked about, the running back dead zone. Where are you potentially, making that cutoff where taking a swing on some of these guys might not be worth, the opportunity cost of what you're giving up at wide receiver, which is another thing we kind of talked about last week.
Yeah, typically you're seeing it now this year, but basically that like early third round. You want to avoid a lot of those guys like it from basically like that round 3 through 7 range. If you are shopping in the dead zone, because there will be running backs selected in that area, the guys you want to target are the guys that we talked about though. They're younger on the age curve and they have pass game involvement. Those are the guys who have come out a bit, have been like the hits in the dead zone when you look at it historically. So the couple of guys that do fall like in that area, like Travis Etienne is in that area. Like there's a path for Travis Etienne to be a pass catcher if James Robinson's not fully healthy, be the primary ball carrier as well. So like he'd be a guy like if you're going to make an exception to the rule, like those are the guys you want to target. But these guys like even good players like J.K. Dobbins, I love as a player, but like he just fits like such the dead zone profile, right? He's not really involved as a pass catcher. He's probably going to share some work with Gus Edwards. He's on an offense that is good enough to elevate him, but he's hyper efficient. Nick Chubb has been living this to the as high a degree as you can, but he walks such a finite line of like what you get from him weekly. Like Nick Chubb is a complete better and a best ball type of running back. He's had one RB1 scoring week in his career in a game without a touchdown and just 5 RB2 or better weeks in games without a touchdown. Like those are dead zone type of guys. You need that pass game involvement. And like I said, look for like a younger guy. Like Breece Hall is another guy. He fits like he'd be a guy like objectively you say like there's not a lot to love here. He's going to the Jets. How much work does Michael Carter get? But he fits the profile of like if you're going to take a guy in that area, you would. But once we hit that like wave, and my cutoff this year would probably be like the Aaron Jones, Ezekiel Elliott's, and like those are guys I'm still not really excited to draft. I typically have 2 of the top running backs by the time I've reached that point of the draft anyway. So then I'm just hammering wide receivers all the way through. And the cool thing about that too is you can still take a wide receiver even in the first round and do this. Because, in the second and early thirds, you can still get guys that profile as like 3-down guys. You can get DeAndre Swift in the second round. You can get Leonard Fournette at the back of the second round. James Conner, like I said, Aaron Jones. Like that's kind of where that cutoff is. And then you still have Saquon Barkley, like who is just plummeted. Like we talked about people not still wanting Christian McCaffrey, but when you look at drafts, people still do want Christian McCaffrey because his ADP still is there. Like people are still taking Christian McCaffrey at worst, like at 4, like is typically the lowest I've seen him go is like 4th overall. But like Saquon Barkley is like a guy that is like legitimately scoring to people. Like he's going in the mid-3rd. He's younger than almost all the backs we've talked about so far. He has that like elite pedigree, athleticism, but he's on a team like people want no part of. Like people want no part of the New York Giants, basically. But he's also in a backfield with next to 0 competition. Like Matt Breida is his backup, who has not got tangible touches in the NFL in any of the past 3 years. And the Giants are another team. When you look at like what they've done on paper, like offensive line wise, like everything is better.